Whenever you're ready, you can absolutely start.
All right, awesome. Good evening, guys. I hope you had a good day. I'm actually gonna go right into this recipe because although it's a very simple recipe, it is a bit time consuming. I do have quicker ones, but this one is one that's super tasty and healthy, but takes a little bit of time. I would like to first state it is a French lentil soup. That is what we're making. And the ingredients are French lentils, which are like any other lentil, just a bit smaller and maybe a bit denser, I think. The other lentils happen to be, well, after you cook them, they get a little softer, and I like the density of the French lentil soup, so this is my preferred lentil. But you can use any lentil, they all work just as well. This recipe has carrots, celery, onions, and garlic. Those are your fresher ingredients. And then for your dried ingredients, we have salt, pepper, thyme, and cumin. That's pretty much it for the dried spices. Other than that, we have some, at the very end, we'll use some red wine vinegar, and then we'll also use some tomato paste. But to begin, you just want to add about 2 tablespoons of oil to your heavy bottom pan. You want a big enough pot for this soup because it makes quite a lot actually. So, and then you can just dump the carrots, celery, and onions right in. It immediately smells amazing, which I love. There's really no science to it. You just drop it all in there. The garlic, I'll wait a little bit. I'll let the first 5 minutes for the onions, celery, and carrots to cook a little bit. And then after about 5 or 6 minutes, I'll incorporate the garlic as well for about 1 more minute, and then the dry ingredients. Wow. It smells so good. It's a very easy recipe. It just takes a little time, about 30 minutes for the lentils to fully cook. I usually do a lot of my prepping early in the week. I'll do onions, peppers, carrots, celery. I'll do a few different variations where I'll do a small dice, a medium chop, and then some slicing and put them in Ziploc bags, and that way I'll have them readily available for the week for recipes. With this particular recipe, I like chunkier veggies, so I cut my onions, carrots, and celery a little chunkier, but you can cut them to whatever your preference is. It will work either way. This is gonna cook down for, like I said, about 5 or 6 minutes. It smells amazing. I love it. I love this recipe. It's hearty. Your gut loves you for it because of the rich fibers in the lentils. There's a good amino acid profile from the lentils. A lot of times at the end of this recipe, I'll combine it with some rice. I like red rice actually, so I put in a little red rice in it, and I also, like I do with everything else, put a little avocado on it. But it's a pretty tasty soup recipe, and it makes a lot, which I love. It keeps well. I think it tastes better as the days go on. When you reheat it, sometimes you just have to add a little more stock. Actually, that's one ingredient that I forgot. I forgot the vegetable stock. That's another thing. We need about 8 cups of that, which I have here on the side ready. So that's a good one. If you guys want to talk back, you can unmute.
It just recipe and printed it out for me, so I have it in front of me. This is great. Thank you.
Oh, awesome. Yay. Yeah, it's a pretty easy recipe. Again, it's literally just the fresh parts, which are, you know, the carrots, onions, celery, some garlic. It calls for 6 cloves of garlic. You can omit the garlic if garlic doesn't work for you. I could never do that because I have garlic pumping through my veins, but I actually put a little extra garlic if anything. It's a great anti-inflammatory, so if you can digest it well, I would absolutely recommend using it. So that's it for the fresh stuff though. It's just carrots, onions, celery, garlic, and then the dry stuff is salt, pepper, cumin, and thyme. That's really it. At the end, we add a little tomato paste and some red wine vinegar that kind of balances out all of the flavors, but it just tastes good the longer it sits there in the pot, and it smells amazing. Aaron already, he's like, Mom, what are you making? It's exciting. Again, it's pretty easy, but it does take a little time. This is usually something I would make on a Wednesday when I get home a little earlier, or a Sunday that I have a little more time. But even though when you think about it, 30 to 40 minutes is not very long anyway. It's just not as fast as like a 20, 25-minute meal. That's all. Hi, Fran. I see you. You're on mute. I can't hear you, but it's okay. I love seeing your faces. It's awesome. I'm usually here cooking, listening to my salsa music in the background, but I much rather prefer be looking at your guys' faces while I'm doing this. All right, this is looking really good. I wish eventually I'm going to invest in kind of like a tripod or a camera that I can have with me and do close-ups on the food. That way you guys can get a better idea of what it's supposed to look like as we go step by step. But this part is pretty simple. You're just pretty much cooking down some carrots, onions, and celery. It's not that complicated, with some olive oil. I am a huge fan of really good ingredients. This is an olive oil, Masia Altet. I'll post it. It's not super expensive. It's a little pricey, but it's really good grade olive oil. I'm a fan of really good ingredients, and this is one of them. When I went to Spain, I tried this for the first time, and I absolutely fell in love with it. And when I came back, my boss had some for me because he's awesome that way. And I've been literally like rationing it the entire time because I went to Spain a long time ago, but I've been using it. And this, for a recipe like this, I definitely want to use it because, again, it just elevates the flavor and make it taste that much more amazing. All right, this is pretty at the halfway point, so I'm gonna incorporate the minced garlic. I'm not sure if you guys can see that, but this is really nice minced garlic. I use my garlic press from Average Chef for it. I have a lot of cool things from them, and this is one of them. Actually, I'm just going to go on ahead and put in all of the dry ingredients as well. So the cumin, the thyme, the salt, and the pepper. The pepper, I'm going to melt it out. And about a teaspoon, I believe, a teaspoon to 2 of each. You can adjust the flavor at the end if you feel it's missing one or the other, or if you want to make it a little saltier. If you want to make it less saltier, just add more water or more stock. That works as well. That's about a teaspoon of pepper. We'll give that a good mix just to incorporate the garlic and disperse the dry ingredients evenly. Oh, this smells so good. It just makes me happy. You do need a large, like this is a pretty large stock pot, so it's a good one. I'm gonna raise the temperature up a little bit more now. From the beginning, this is a cast iron pot, so I usually start at about a 6. Well, it depends on what stove you have too. I have one of these electric tops, so it's a little different, but I pretty much let the pot get hot enough, but not too hot. And when I get to about 6 or 7 minutes in, then I'll crank up the heat a little bit more because eventually you do want your soup to come to a complete boil. So this is a good time to crank up the heat a little bit. And we're at that halfway point. Now the lentils, I don't sort them. I know sometimes they say you should, but I don't. I just give them a really good rinsing. I sometimes actually let them, I have a metal bowl that I let them sit in water for a bit, and then I'll take them out, give them a shake, and run some more water through them. That's pretty much it though. I'll wait a few more minutes for that to cook down a little bit more, and then I will incorporate the lentils and the stock. I will let that come to a complete boil before I reduce the heat and then let it cook for about 30 minutes at low to medium heat. That's the long haul, the 30 minutes. Sometimes it's done in like 25 minutes, but either way, that's the longest part of it. This smells really good. I wish there was a way to transfer the aroma virtually. So good.
Is that like one cup of lentils?
What did you say, Fran?
Is that 1 cup of lentils? How much lentils is it?
It's a pound of lentils, so it's about a 16-ounce package.
Okay.
And it does a lot. It comes out a lot. When you cook it, it comes to a lot. You could, this is actually a pretty big recipe. I'm glad you said that, because if it's just 1 or 2 people in your house, then you could reduce this by half and it would work just as well.
Okay.
still keep all the same veggies, honestly, and just, well, maybe a little less veggies, and then half a packet of lentils, and then it won't be so much. It'll be
Right, okay.
juice as well. But again, even if you make a bunch of it and you put it in little containers and keep it in the fridge or freeze it, it keeps really well.
Oh, okay.
All right, this is great. So I am going to add the lentils now. Fresh lentils. I'm going to add the stock. 8 cups of stock. This is a vegetable. This is a veggie stock, but you can use whatever stock you prefer. It doesn't have to be a vegetable stock.
Like beef?
Chicken or beef or bone broth, whatever works for you. I like a vegetable stock. I actually make my vegetable stock with a lot of the veggies, like the end parts that I use for my smoothies. I make so many smoothies that I end up with a lot of veggie end parts and stems and stuff like that. So, one second, guys. Wipe up the stuff that I just dropped. So yeah, I make my own stock, or sometimes I'll do like half my stock, half of a store-bought stock, but any stock works really. You can't, this is a really easy recipe. It's hard to mess it up. So anyone can do it, pretty much, anyone. And it's really good for you. It's a hearty lentil soup. And you can elevate it with so many different things. You can add quinoa to it, you can add farro, you can add red rice, and those are really good whole grains that will make it a complete protein, because although lentils are an awesome source of protein, they don't have a complete amino acid profile. So if you do incorporate a whole grain with it, then you get that complete protein amino acid profile, which is really good. This stuff smells amazing. So I'm gonna actually bring up the heat to allow this to come to a full boil, which will probably take about 4 minutes. And then I will reduce the heat and just let it cook and simmer for a little more than a simmer, just a low heat for about 25 to 30 minutes. At this point, I can just smell and know that everything is right as far as the seasoning. But if you're doing this for the first time, I would suggest tasting it. Taste your broth, taste it for the seasoning of your preference and your choice. But I've done this quite a few times, so I have a really good nose, and I just look, I smell, and I know it's a really, it's a great recipe, because even kids like it. Every child that I've given this to, they really like it. I just add some crusty bread with some butter on it, and it goes down. So it's a good recipe.
Yeah.
And again, it's just something pretty simple to put together and then make a lot of it, and you have it for the week. And it can be good for lunch, it can be good for dinner. So it's a great option, very nutrient dense. And again, your gut loves you for it, because it's a great hit of fiber.
Right.
Fiber, you know, legumes, beans, in general, I love them. I eat them almost every single day because they're such a rich source of fiber. And I can digest them well. There are some people obviously that can't digest them very well. So for them, maybe not so much, but overall, they're a good source of nutrition and fiber. All right, so that's pretty much going to keep cooking down and eventually come to a boil. Once the 25 to 30 minutes are up, that's where you want to add the red wine vinegar, about 2 tablespoons, and then tomato paste. I recently discovered this tomato paste in a tube in Whole Foods, which I thought was genius, because generally I would open up a can, and then if you only need a tablespoon or 2, then you have to scoop out the rest from the can, put it in a container, and try to keep it as long or as best as possible, or use it quickly enough so that it doesn't spoil. But this toothpaste tube kind of thing really works, because if you only need 1 or 2 tablespoons, you squeeze out what you need, and then you can just cover it and save the rest of it, which is pretty awesome. I like that. So that's what I'll do. I'll squeeze out about 4 tablespoons of this tomato paste along with this red wine vinegar, incorporate that, wait about a minute, taste it, and see if I want to add any more cumin, thyme, salt, pepper, adjust the flavor accordingly. I won't keep you guys on for the entire 30 minutes because that would be not so fun. But once it is finally done and cooked, I'll take a photo of it and post it on Source Strong. The recipe is posted. If you have any questions about the ingredients or any questions about the preparation method, do post on Source Strong, or send me a message, whatever. I will answer it. But does anyone have any questions now? I'm not sure if
No.
you did or not.
I wish we were gonna be at Source so you could bring some in so we could sample it.
I know, that would have been so awesome. I actually want to do that. So once this phase of what's happening has passed, I will absolutely strive to do a Soar Eats kind of like event where we can make things together, and I'll bring in maybe like an electric top or something, and we can just cook there together and sample it all together, because I have so many recipes that are really simple, easy, nutrient-dense recipes that are delicious, and I really look forward to sharing it with you all.
Cool.
Thanks, Fran.
You're welcome.
I hope
Thank
you guys
you.
try this at home. It's pretty simple and delicious. So
If I could find beans in the store.
I know, right? That's so true. I mean, keep trying online. A lot of markets don't have stuff on the shelves, but if you go online and order from them directly for delivery, they are doing deliveries. So
Okay. Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah. Yeah.
And if you need anything, if anyone needs anything and can't get their hands on it, I mean, let me know. I'll drop it off and drop a bag right off at your door and drive away. So let me know.
Thank you.
We're here.
Thank you.
A quick drive by.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, out of my way, Fran needs beans. Thank you, guys.
Actually, now I'm in the hunt. Now I'm in the hunt for sugar.
Oh, for sugar. Oh, you know what, Fran? I'm so sorry. I can't help you with the sugar part.
It's
just can't find it.
crazy. It's crazy. I'm going tomorrow.
I don't know that one.
Stop and Shop for people over 60. They can go between 6 and 7:30 in the morning.
On the news that they were doing that at Target as well, and a few of the other local markets, which is really clever. They should have been doing that from the beginning, honestly.
Yeah. So I'm going to go tomorrow morning early. I'm going to go to Stop and Shop, and I just need sugar. That's all I want. I want to do some baking. I need sugar.
Okay. Yeah. I get it. I totally get it.
Sitting around doing nothing, you may as well be productive and get fat.
Listen, you earned the right, Fran. I'm not even going to hit you with the moderation speech. You earned the right. Everybody else, moderation. Funny story. When I tell Aaron, I say, Aaron, everything in moderation. He says, Mom, even moderation.
Yeah.
It's so funny, right? Clever boy.
Oh, too funny.
The soup smells amazing. It's driving me crazy already. But I hope you guys do try this at home. Post if you do. Let me see your food pics. Tell me how it went for you, what you add or take away. Guys, I'm going to end this video now because I do want to get ready for the 7 p.m. class. That would be awesome. I'm going to do it in my kitchen.
Oh, I did it already.
I'm looking forward to it. Thanks, guys. Love you all. Until next time.
Bye.
Bye. Good night.
Thank you, Silk.
Bye.
Bye, Nest.
Bye, Efren.